I brought in the pumpkin. I brought the pumpkin in. Why is this not focusing? Oh, I thought I'd tell the story of White Tip. Alright, so what happened was, she was a young squirrel, and she had this white tip of a tail, and she was black. I didn't actually think she would live that long because I thought hawks would target her. So I unimaginatively named her White Tip, thinking that'll do. She's not going to live very long, unfortunately, around here. But I was wrong, because here she is, and it's, I don't know how much longer later. It's at least a year and a half, maybe 2 years, I don't know. So I met her when there were tons and tons of squirrels that would hang out up here. And she stood out because of her tail. Let me see if I can get it better. And so I thought, well, I'll make her my friend by giving her food. But I found out in like a year and a half, 2 years time, you just can't, it doesn't work that way. Like, yeah, she views me as a friendly person, but you can't buy friends. Just like with humans, you can't buy squirrel friends. It doesn't matter how many nuts you give them. If they are not inclined to be like close buddies, then that's that. And I think a lot of people sell short when they see relationships that people have online with animals. And they say, oh, well, it's because you feed them. Does that person think that you can get a girlfriend if you just keep feeding her? Like that she'll just hang around and love you? It doesn't work that way with humans. It doesn't work that way with squirrels. Certain squirrels you can develop a bond with, certain cats, certain dogs, certain humans, but not everyone. And food is not a magic bullet for creating a relationship. But like I said, yeah, she views me as friendly. She's not afraid of me, but there's no relationship really. I hate to say it. I mean, we're just not close. We never have been. I'm sorry, White Tip. Maybe we're closer than I think, you know. I know she appreciates me. I come out and I help her out when there's hawk alerts and stuff like that. And, she has a cabin she lives in with her babies. So she appreciates me, but that's different. There's not, as long as I've known her, and it's been a long time, there's no Pippi Bond, Condo Girl, Hansi. You know, she's just not, we don't click. And I don't know why, but it's one of those things. You can't make it work with a human. You can't make it work with a squirrel. Nuts don't buy a relationship. Now this one over here is like, when are you going to stop gabbing and turn around? Give me a nut. There you go. Here comes the garbage truck. Here comes the garbage truck. There's White Tip jumping on a tree. They jump on trees, cling on to trees. Trucks don't come up on the trees. Now here's Mrs. Brown. We're starting to actually develop a little bit of a relationship, and I wasn't expecting that. Hey, Mrs. Brown. I thought we were just going to be kind of a transactional thing, but I think she's starting to like me a little bit. Look at her. Squirrels crawling up the back of me, but I just can't miss this. This little tyke has crawled into the pumpkin and is just hanging out inside of it eating. Doesn't care that I'm out here, and then again, why would he? He's safe, he's inside the pumpkin. He's alright. He's like, I'm all good here. I got shelter, I got food. I'm eating my shelter. It is my food. They just love these pumpkins. I was so lucky to find a store that had 4 more. But I'm gonna need to find a pumpkin patch and keep buying these as long as I can. They just love them so much. Guess who I found hanging out in the ditch as I came by on my bike? She was running into the ditch to get away from, I think, me. There you go. I don't think she knew who I was at first, and then I called to her and she came out. These are 2 of Mrs. Brown's kids. They were just wrestling. And there's Rover looking at me. Oh, Rover's going after. Rover. Rover, are you going after Mrs. Brown's kids? Rover. Come here, Rose. Would you want Mrs. Brown going after your kids? No. There's Mrs. Brown coming up in the sunlight. Hey, Mrs. Brown. I think Rover's chasing your kids a little bit. There they are. There's Mrs. Brown. Oh, come here. That was me in the leaves.